In the words of a famous Brit, we're back, bitches. Yeah, but
what famous Brit was that? Bertrand Russell?
Wow, way to make a reference that nobody's gonna get.
No, man, no. People know Bertrand Russell now. He's cool now.
Is he?
Skeptics are cool. Yeah, skeptics and philosophers are cool now.
Oh, okay. That's in these days.
He's the dude that did the whole celestial teapot thing.
Oh, dude, that's so fucking hipster, man.
It is hipster.
That was hot before anybody even knew. Yeah. So what's he doing these days? Like, being Bones or something?
He's dead.
Yeah, being Bones. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't hip to your euphemisms. Maybe I'm not so much of a hipster.
Is that really euphemism? I mean, being like, just kind of.
That sounds like a euphemism to me. Yes.
No, like flying to Las Vegas. That's a euphemism for like, dying or something like that. And for some people, but being Bones, that's just kind of like that's more of a specific way of saying that they're dead. It's just like more of
It's not that specific.
Being Bones? How is that not specific?
I have a skeleton. I am a skeleton.
But if you're only Bones, then you're dead.
You didn't say only Bones, but no.
I thought it was implied.
I think you should just give up and admit that you're wrong here.
I say we should. I don't know. I will not concede. I will concede that this is a stupid conversation right now and that we should move on.
Yeah.
Alright, so it's been almost a year. It's been 9 months. The last podcast we had was last August. And it's April, so I mean, close enough, right? I
think we should just pretend we've been having podcasts like on a weekly basis.
Wait, we haven't?
God, man, last week, dude, that was insane.
Yeah, man, dude, that whole bit with the clown too.
Yeah, that pissed a lot of people off. Apparently, it's controversial. I don't know.
I mean, some things you do with balloons you just can't do, and then when it involves like, ferrets too. Some park rangers,
fucking liberals.
Hey,
it's
man.
Hitler's fault. Now everyone's paranoid about clowns and ferrets and fascists. Fascists are bad, all right.
I mean, fascist. That just sounds. That kind of sounds like a cool word to me.
Yeah. I think we should move on because no one wants to hear all that stuff again. We already covered it last week.
No, yeah, it's very, very controversial, and it's we don't want to be taken down.
No.
And we don't want people going after us because that's never fun, especially because it's just
I'd like to state for the record, I'm not afraid of the FCC.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, they're. I mean, it's not like they're going to be listening, but if they are, don't take us down.
I love the United States government. When I was a kid, I said the Pledge of Allegiance every day.
Well, that's... I guess that's involving government. I don't know. That's bullshit, but... Alright, as we were saying, it's been... whatever, but... I don't know. Study Break Podcast. This is technically still the Study Break Podcast, and I'm kind of like thinking we kind of need some rebranding because I mean nobody's really studying anymore. It's not like the whole initial concept of it was that we were doing it inside a library, and we really were up until the first podcast.
Wait, this is a real library?
Oh, it was. We seriously initially did the first few podcasts in a library study room. So it was closed door. It it has people could pass by and all stuff and see us. But we did it inside the study room. But usually it was more towards night, not during busy weeks and all stuff. But people were way louder than us, most cases. So
I think your 3 diehard fans are just God, they've lost their way, man. When are they going to go back to their roots, man?
Wow,
it's not like the old days.
Pretty generous with that 3, man. I mean, maybe 3 total, but I don't know if all of them are diehard fans.
I think anything less than that, it just Like, I don't know, it doesn't work. Nothing works. Not even a joke.
Not even a joke?
No.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess 3 is always like the magic number for some reason. It never really made sense to me why like 3 is like so prominent and like when like counting or doing like anything. Because I mean, like most systems, they're not going to be based on 3s. They're based on 10s or whatever fucking arbitrary measurement the empirical system is.
Well, doesn't just the fact that people think there's some significance to it mean that there's some significance to it? Like, not objectively, or based on any real mathematical principle.
But
just the fact that it's a part of human psychology for some reason, this thing gives it some significance.
That's like saying there's a significance to Friday the 13th. No, there isn't. It just happens to be...
Sure there is. Well, I'm not saying the significance is actually with Friday the 13th. I'm saying the significance is with whatever it is in the human condition that Friday the 13th appeals to.
So, because people make it significant, it's significant. So they're
from that perspective.
So it's an artificial significance. It's nothing that like really like occurred.
All significance is artificial, though.
I mean, more artificial than most things. Like you know, if it's like people making up words or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, they become words, but like, you know, if they don't really have like an origin, like a bunch of all these words that are being added to like the Webster dictionary because people use it, like texting or you know, all these like all these ones that we say all these days, but not all these days nowadays, but they never had like origins like through you know, like Latin or German or.
No,
like all these.
I'm fine with that. That's how all words started. I mean, that's kind of an arbitrary point, though, going back to some old language. But you know, you trace it back far enough, and it's just something people just kept saying until it caught on.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that like
as long as you're not making words that are just like, oh, this has been, you know, people have been saying this for like the last 2 years, therefore it's no part of English language.
Yeah, it's something that's completely random. But no, you know, I understand with everything there's going to be some origin that's, you know, that's like completely made up. It's completely out of the.
What I'm saying is it's all made up. There's nothing special about the long ago. And I mean, not any more special than it is now. I mean, why can't today be the origin of a word? You know.
I'm not saying it can't be. I'm just saying that I'm giving the example of, like, you know, like the kind of origin is more artificial because we're just making it up out of the blue instead of it coming from something more significant in the past. Like it doesn't have like to just.
I mean, I guess if it was just like out of nowhere, then yeah, sure. But I mean, the most examples I can think of are things that came out of something or just naturally progressed that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know exactly how they go one thing from another, but I mean, I don't know exactly how gay became homosexual, but it did, I'm sure, and no one got together in a conference and just voted on it. But
it was probably some euphemism. Probably some euphemism that just kind of just got like this.
I mean, I'm sure the explanation's simple. I'm just saying, like, I mean, sometimes just things just go that way socially, and no one has their finger on the controlling all this, except for the Illuminati, of course, and the Rockefellers,
and the good guys at FCC,
and the aliens.
Oh yeah, naturally. I mean, you have to have someone overseeing the entire thing.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, isn't it clear that we were just a social experiment by aliens? I mean, isn't that what the History Channel said?
Yeah, that's also what Jesse Eisenberg did on the Social Network too.
Yeah.
That was going to be funnier in my head than it came out. So.
Yeah.
Well.
I'm sure Jesse Eisenberg's one of them, though.
He always he always kind of came off of me like as like, I don't know, something's not right with him. There's always like something that just kind of seems off, and not just that like he played like, you know, Mark Zuckerberg, who like had like some OCD or some Asperger's or whatever. Yeah, it's just,
I think I don't know. I've never been like that disappointed with Jesse Eisenberg, but I think maybe his playing quirky characters. I think maybe it's just fidgetiness.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's real acting about him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like at the very beginning, he was like, a bunch of people saw him as like a cooler or like a different like Michael Cera, and he's kind of evolved into that. But like Michael Cera's just kind of gone away lately. Like
the Jewish version of Michael Cera.
Yeah. I don't know. Wait, is he?
Come on.
Okay. Well, I'm not one to judge, you know, and
we are half Jewish, so we can
Spoiler
do that.
Alert,
We can do that.
Yeah.
According to, we could totally pass as Jews based on Jewish law.
Yeah.
If we chose to.
Mazel tov. Oy vey.
I mean, I don't, but like, I know I have that card in my pocket if I ever need it.
Yeah, it has the Star of David on it, and it's very it's blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We only have a half pouch of Jew gold though.
Yeah, I know that we kind of get robbed there, but you know, we're still white, so that helps. Wow, that just I kind of went a little further. I kind of regret that, but.
So it doesn't matter. You got the card.
Okay, you're right. And also, like, if there's like this second, like this like whole second like Hitler or something, I'm also part German too. So
well, the thing is, when you have the last name, see, you have the mother. So if you need to appeal to the Jews, because obviously the Jews control, you know, the whole country and all the banks and the government and the media.
Of course.
We all know that.
Yes.
I think the History Channel told me that.
Yeah.
And you know, so according to Jewish law, if your mother's Jewish, you're Jewish.
Yeah.
But according to man's law, they give a shit about your last name.
Yeah, and my last name is pretty fucking German.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we're pretty damn covered.
Well, I mean, you have to appeal to the Scottish or Irish or
Scotch-Irish,
Irish, whatever. Yeah.
Let's just cover both grounds.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, I'll get shit, but you know, it'll never go too far.
Yeah, nobody can really hate the Scot-Irish except for like the opposite of the Scottish and the Irish or something. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. There's some rivalry, right? It's like it's beer versus potatoes, right, or something.
I think it's a friendly rivalry.
Friendly rivalry?
I don't know. They were allies in Braveheart. That's all I need to know.
I think that's all anyone needs to know.
Yeah. I mean, if the History Channel tells me something's true, and if Mel Gibson tells me something's true, then it's true. Yeah,
I mean, Mel Gibson can't tell a lie. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
The fact that he told me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if he tells me the truth, that he can't tell a lie, then that's like a double truth.
Yeah. So it's definitely true that his wife's a whore then, because that's what he said.
Hey, you know, to each their own.
Yeah.
And you still have a wife, or is it like is he like on like the 6th one by now?
I'm sure they're divorced by now after that incident.
Oh. Yeah. There's plenty incidents, so I mean, like, when it comes to male.
Does this narrow down? The one where he was drunk.
That narrows down all but 2 days of the week.
Yeah.
Maybe only 1 day of the week. But,
it's weird. I was listening to that phone call, and I didn't hear much of an Australian accent. Has he like given it up or something?
Yeah, like when you become an actor, like you have like the. You become like you have this, you know, this option of using your accent or not. If you're like English or something like that, then you don't have to use it in films, but you're obligated to use it outside. Australians, however, that is a little bit more murky because they work differently. They're on a different hemisphere, everything like that. It's quite complicated, and when you involve an anti-Semite like him, then shit goes down. Then you could be yelling and it doesn't matter with your accent. I mean, he constantly yells outside of films. Even in films he yells. But yeah. I mean, just think of like the Beatles and stuff like that. When they're singing and doing all this stuff, you can't really tell so much. It's a lot of things.
Yeah, but I don't know why that is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we all kind of, if it's the same language, maybe we kind of get a little closer together during singing. I don't know.
Yeah. I want there should be more experiments with accents or more studies like that. Because I mean, you've seen plenty of occurrences of people coming from foreign lands with accents and then gradually losing their accents over the year. But then, what if someone us, who to us it's more of a neutral accent when you think about it. But then, if we go to Australia or we go to the UK or somewhere in the UK, will we eventually start gaining an accent, or are we just?
I'm sure it's possible, but it probably depends on the individual.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would expect.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a rule in either direction.
No, but it would be interesting. It would be interesting, for some person that lived in the United States for 2 decades or so, then goes overseas for 5 years, comes back with an accent.
Yeah, it might be just how adept they are at picking up other languages' phonemes and whatnot. So. They're which probably is correlated to their ability just to learn a new language as well. So
that's true. Well, they don't necessarily have to learn a new language because, some of the examples because some of the examples I'm giving they speak English.
The innate ability would probably be correlated. Is what I'm saying.
Mm. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah. So I could go over to Scotland. Well, I don't know if I'm there for a while, if I start to have this slight accent and everything like that, and then because if I'm just around them all the time, with that those accents, it's gonna be kind of getting ingrained.
Sure. I mean, I think I've picked things up just from. I mean, I catch myself saying, pronouncing things a little differently every once in a while because I mean I've been exposed to a lot of English media, so so yeah, I think it affects me sometimes. Sure.
Yeah, I guess so. Also, you can think that it's cool because it sounds foreign to us that you want to kind of there's some things of just I could say it the way that most people here say it, or I can say it a cool foreign way. And, it can be a little pretentious sometimes, but I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
I'll say bollocks sometimes.
Yeah, I'll say shite.
Shite, shite is...
I feel like it has different contextual uses, too.
Yeah. No, it does. Especially just to fuck with other people.
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
but in that case, you just say cunt. You're just oh no, I learned it from the English and surf.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's a different context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's in the FCC guidelines.
Yeah. Yeah.
They definitely have that stipulation.
Yeah, the cunt stipulation.
Yeah.
It's from Constable Billy. Yeah. It was ironic, in a sense, but people kind of forgotten the origin of that. They just think cunt. I said that word like 3 times within like a minute. It's kind of
not nearly enough.
Yeah. But I'm not gonna push it. I'm not gonna push the cunt limit, you know. Yeah. I'm gonna be like.
So you're not gonna continue with that? Yeah. We shouldn't go down there.
Yeah. No,
I don't think either of us are quick-witted enough to keep.
No, I like right there. Like I was trying to think of something, but then I'm just like, it's like I think I half prevented myself because I don't want to go down the road, and also because I just can't think of anything else.
Yeah, like I'm surprised I came up with something that obvious.
No,
It only took me a few seconds to think of.
Yeah, this country just can't take it. All right, zing. There you go. Oh god. Yeah. What is it? One thing I want to complain about lately is earthquakes. Yeah. Not like the occurrence of earthquakes, but everybody that is involved with earthquakes, because that's like one of the most annoying things, especially living in California, where earthquakes happen way more often than other places in the United States. I mean, we're not some third world country that gets fucking devastated. But
I like third world country, like that makes a difference or something.
Well, I'm saying
the third world countries.
Well,
they obviously have more earthquakes just because.
Okay, well, I'm saying that there's been occurrences over the last few years where like third world countries had these huge ass like earthquakes that just fuck them up, but we can have like these big and small earthquakes, and not that much really happens. But everyone fucking freaks out. Everyone it's just like, oh my god, earthquake! Oh no, it's just like.
Is this proof that God is really on our side?
God. America. God is with you.
Yeah.
It says it on the dollar bill, man.
It does.
No, it's so annoying because it's like. I don't know.
George Washington never told a lie.
Yeah, I mean, according to Super Troopers, that's my reference, to never tell a lie. But but no, it's like an earthquake occurs, and then there's like 10 fucking statuses on it. Twitter, like earthquake goes trending on it. I mean, it could be like a small thing, but then like everyone fucking freaks out because it's just like, I don't know if it's just like because they think it's really that interesting, or if they're afraid of like the bigger one happening. And I put in quote even though people can't see, but it's just like
I have 2 hypotheses to explain this.
Proceed.
The first one, and probably the more likely one, people are really boring.
Okay,
and
I agree.
The second one is maybe it's kind of a superstitious thing where they act concerned about like the less horrible ones that it's like, hey, I didn't forget that the big one might be looming at any second.
So you're not tempting fate?
Yeah.
It's
like Randy on South Park. He's like, we did it lesson.
Yeah.
So maybe there's like a comeuppance thing.
It's like people don't want to fall into like the stereotypical ignorant people in a disaster film where they think nothing wrong will ever happen to them, but then something that they never thought would happen, or that they just waved off, happens to them, and they're just like, we should have looked at it, we should have. But with earthquakes, there's nothing you can prevent. You can fucking not put as many like things on shelves, or maybe not live in a shitty old structured house.
Yeah,
but
it's all structure basically. Yeah, and having supplies and things like that.
Yeah, but
if it's bad enough, sure.
Yeah, but it's just like
it's bad enough, we're all screwed.
Yeah,
whether you were expecting it or not, whether you did the anti-jinx or not, we're all equally fucked. So chill out. Yeah.
Now see, this is another reason why we need legalization of pot, because people won't fucking worry about it if they're high.
Then they'll just be just as annoying talking about pot.
Well, I mean, like, you know, there's still...
I mean, sure, I'd rather people be geeky about pot than earthquakes, but...
Yeah, because pot can at least have, like, some, you know, some interesting points. Earthquakes are just, oh, the world's fucking shaking. Oh, no, a fault line got tripped. Oh, no. Who gives a shit? I'm not into geology or any crap like that.
Ever since I was a kid, I was perplexed by people, like, so interested in earthquakes, can't stop talking about it. I'm like, it happened, it's over. I don't understand what the big deal is.
Yeah, and then like people try to predict it or try to like say like, oh, this can mean that something could happen. It's like you don't know. It's like we didn't have like that many earthquakes in like the last like year or two, and once like it happens, like, oh, this could be coming. You know, this could be, you know, doing. This could be leading to a bigger one or anything. It's like what are you gonna do? Move out of California? How about that? Maybe not being such a stupid little prick. You know, you can actually think straight and like, you know, I don't know. Just how about not give a shit? What can you do? You can't do anything.
You know,
get some emergency supplies. Maybe
it really makes you think.
Stock up on fruit roll-ups.
It really makes you think. We're really not that different from like fucking cavemen, you know, like 15,000 years ago, people signing agency like from the gods to you know, natural disasters. Now people still try to do that. You know, they try to ascribe some significance to it. There's no statistics that you know, these natural disasters are already more common now. There's like, well, I seem to be remembering things more. It seems significant to me. So I wonder if it has some significance. I wonder if it's connected to, you know, fracking or, which, I don't know, could be for all I know about fracking. But it, so, yeah, like, I don't know if that's really that different. I don't know if we really evolved, because we probably haven't. Biologically.
Well, I mean, we've evolved sometimes, but then like things like this just make us look. Just regress the progress. I
just think people probably overlook it a little more just because it's not the great googly moogly in the sky, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's.
And I'm not talking about you, Odin. I know you're real.
Praise Odin. But you know, it's. I don't know. There will eventually be the big earthquake. Then there's going to be a big aftershock. And then people are just going to be fucking terrified. Even more so. But then it's just like, at a certain point, like, you know, you can't just keep on being, like, scared of, like, something that can happen. Or something, you know, it's like, if you want, like, you know, to not have to worry about anything, like, move to, like, Saskatchewan or Alaska or so.
Montana's supposedly a pretty low risk place for natural disasters.
I mean, it's Montana, so
yeah. So you know, it's all cost benefit analysis.
Yeah, I guess so. You can live in your own like cabin or some shit like that. You know, just I mean, they have cabins in Montana, right? I mean, that's a thing.
Well, they got a lot of land and not that many people, I would assume. So
probably a lot of trees.
Yeah,
too.
That's where cabins spawn.
Cabin spawn, yeah. Yeah, I mean, within like the continental U.S. because I mean, you know, Canada, like all that, like those things sprout out.
I don't think they live in anything other than cabins. I think they have cabin duplexes up there.
Yeah. Then they spruced it up. They spruced it up pretty nice. Especially with spruce wood.
Wow.
Yeah. You didn't even see that coming, did you?
No.
Yeah, but
their moose jerky is fantastic, I must say.
Very underrated. You know, people like think moose and they just like, no man, I don't want to do that. It's like, and then you think like, you eat other jerky, why not? I mean, mooses are uglier than. Moose are pretty ugly.
I'm sure the ugliness of the animal is directly correlated with the tastiness of the jerky.
Exactly. See,
that's what jerky's for. Ugly animals.
Right on, hit the nail on the head, man. It's, I still need to try turkey jerky.
You have tried it. I gave you some.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That was delicious. I remember that.
It was awesome. And turkeys, incredibly fucking
I was
ugly.
just about to say.
Way more ugly than mooses.
Yeah. Cows are like fucking adorable compared to turkeys.
Oh, well, cows are adorable anyway, but that's me.
But I mean,
I'm weird.
No, there are people. There are people that just think that the cows are adorable and all stuff like that.
Well, maybe I'll do a little addendum: ugly and stinky.
Okay. Wait, turkeys?
Huh?
Or are you talking about cows?
And/or stinky.
Okay.
I have no idea what turkeys smell like.
I don't know, man. They just.
I don't know if I've ever been near a bird and thought, "Oh God."
How often you be near a bird though? It's like they're usually far away, or they're you see them for a split second and then they're shot.
I'm sure I have. I've been to zoos. I've been around animals.
Yeah, that's true. There's zoos. Nah.
Well, then again, everything stinks at a zoo.
That's true. It's it just. I mean, you can't really prevent it. You just. Can you imagine if you can just if you go into a zoo and it doesn't stink? Wouldn't that be more suspicious? Be like, why doesn't it smell like shit constantly?
I couldn't even begin to come up with a theory on why that would be.
Genetic engineering. They don't have to. They become so efficient they don't have to dispose of their waste.
Huh.
Yeah.
Or maybe their waste is not smelly anymore.
Oh.
Maybe they turned it into chocolate.
Did not see that coming. Definitely, I thought you were going somewhere else. You just kind of just went off and.
Although maybe it should be like in South Park where they shit ice cream because chocolate's I don't know if people would take the plunge there. Yeah.
That I'm not gonna have ice cream for a little bit. That's but God, I haven't watched South Park in a while. It's I don't know. What season is it on? It's 17 or something that.
I think it's probably in the teens right now, maybe 14.
Oh, it's easily in the teens.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. I stopped watching the last season or the last half season because I got when I was in the middle of one of the Game of Thrones ones, I got the impression that they were going to drop spoilers, so I stopped watching it.
Oh. Yeah.
Normally I like their parodies, but their Game of Thrones one was just lazy. It just seemed like it was a retread of their Lord of the Rings one, which is obviously great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed weird. It was just basically like Lord of the Rings. Although I thought it was funny that they were always walking in a garden, which is true because the Game of Thrones, they're always just kind of pacing around in some garden or
Yeah.
Well, there's plants and paths, so it's like a park or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
Plotting.
Nice. Yeah. No, I didn't watch. I haven't watched it even further. I've seen an episode every now and then, and I really want to watch. I really want to play the South Park Stick of Truth game because that's pretty much you're controlling the episode. It has all the mechanics of the episode, and it has it has apparently so much just so many references and so much fan what the hell's that phrase? When you pander to the fans.
I know what you're saying, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever watched South Park and thought of the South Park universe. Man, I really need to get in there and start controlling things. I feel bad that I have such a lack of control over this universe. Game of Thrones, sure, I felt that. I wanted to be in the Game of Thrones world, but
they have that. Have you heard of Oculus Rift?
No.
It's just like the newest, not newest, but it's like the most it's the most advanced virtual reality like equipment and stuff like that they're doing nowadays. Facebook actually recently purchased it, but what they're doing at like some of these conventions is they're setting up the Oculus Rift, and they put you into the Game of Thrones world. Oh. Like where like you can like be on the wall, like on top of the wall, and like it puts you like through the stuff, and it's just like you like, yeah, it's, I don't know, it seems pretty epic. I don't know.
Yeah, like I wonder, we're probably not that far off from like truly interactive virtual reality.
See,
where you could probably fool people.
Yeah, you see, you say that, but people have been saying that for the last 5 years, where like it's like like these technological like advances are always just out of reach. Like, dude, someday this is gonna be happening, all this stuff, and it's like, what happened? Like there's probably like a bunch of stuff that like it happens, but then it doesn't get approved, or like you know, it's, but
no, well, I don't know. I'd have to. I see no reason why it couldn't be possible, and there's plenty of incentive to make it. So I just wonder how it's going to change the world when it happens.
Yeah, I mean,
what will people find it a suitable substitute for?
Porn?
Well, naturally, but but like, will they stop all relations? Like, I wonder how much, like, how good they can make the technology, how much you can fool the brain into thinking it's real enough so where you get satisfied. Like, just like relationships. Like, could you cure loneliness? Or
probably, definitely. I mean,
yeah.
Like there are machines that like are kind of they pretty much do the work, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like a bunch of like mechanics and all this stuff. But like, if you have like enough like physical stimulation through some other piece of equipment, if you're seeing stuff, like you can be absolutely fooled at anything. You just need to like hit certain senses, and then the rest of the body just and brain just does the rest of the work, and then you're so immersed in like so immersed in like the feelings and all the stuff that, like, you know, it's real to you.
Yeah, but there's different levels of the brain where it's harder to fool. There's more subtleties to it. I mean, just touching warm skin, you know, feeling like that person's real. So it would have to incorporate, the hardest technology would be incorporating some level of artificial intelligence, high convincing level of artificial intelligence, which I'm sure would be much more game-changing technology than just virtual reality, which would just be the tool in which to immerse yourself into it.
So where would Futurama's like Lucy Liu doll fit in there?
Isn't there already a Lucy Liu doll?
I don't know. I need to check that up. That's,
yeah, well, it makes you wonder. It's it makes me think: would robotic technology come up before like virtual reality? Like what's more likely to happen first? An extremely lifelike cyborg, essentially, that people will inevitably choose as companions over real people, or people will just immerse themselves in virtual reality.
I think more the latter, because I think the virtual reality would be more would be cheaper, would be more accessible to the masses than an animatronic cyborg or just like like a realistic cyborg, and it's just like,
yeah, because you're right, because as we've seen, computer technology advances faster than probably any other technology in the world. Yeah, that would be like biotechnology that It would have to be like some kind of cyborg.
Yeah,
technology.
and also that would definitely need have more obstacles of approval, and with certain government government organizations.
What would be like? Would virtual reality ever? I mean, what grounds would the government have to put? I mean, for it to be highly regulated, like I can't think of anything.
Well, I mean, probably once, like if they ever start like really regulating porn, because that's like one of the more extremes of the internet is like stuff doing with fetishes and porn and all stuff like that.
Sure,
and those are the ones that like all these stupid fucking parents are just bitching about.
Like I think. Yeah, like I understand, like there's the motivation that people just want to control what people think about and what people do that they just find distasteful. But with porn, they have the the real world excuse, like it contributes to human trafficking and people aren't safe, the actors aren't safe, and they're so dirty or whatever. It's just but in a virtual reality, who can you say is being harmed? I mean, you could try to make the argument, people are harming themselves, so that shit don't fly.
God, people just try to restrict things by using the whole thing. Oh, people are hurting themselves, or people have their own fucking will. They can do what they want as long as it doesn't harm other people. Why the hell should you restrict it? Like if it gives someone else, I mean, obviously there's some weird shit that other people don't want to know about that people do, but it's as long as it doesn't hurt anybody, doesn't hurt anything like animals or any shit like that, it's completely isolated. Why does it matter?
A simple concept that human beings have not been able to respect since the inception of human beings.
Yeah, no, it's.
You think it'd be simple? You think it's what everyone would want to respect their own autonomy, but apparently it's just a really hard thing for human society to do.
Yeah, no, it's like everything has to be regulated in some form or another, and it's just why would they give a shit? It's like. I guess it get
because it pays to have control over people.
Yeah, but at some points, it doesn't matter whether money is involved or not. Things happen, and it's
Well, I mean, look at one of the most successful manipulators of all, religion. I think they're obviously onto something when they're so focused on controlling people's sexuality. I think you control people's sexuality, you control people.
Yeah, well, I mean, sexuality is one of the most prominent, just controllers in the...
Yeah.
So, I guess it's just I don't know, it's just it's like the ring, Lord of the Rings, you have so much power, so it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, I was reaching for some reference, and I could only think of Lord of the Rings because of old South Park. Yeah. But one thing, we could probably leave it towards the end, like that. But later, I want to get in a discussion of Game of Thrones more, because we mentioned the South Park Game of Thrones, but leave that towards the very end, so it'd be easier for if people don't want spoilers, so that they can just skip out or whatever. But one out of the 3 people watching this or listening to this doesn't want any spoilers or doesn't watch the show.
And we have established that it's 3 people.
3 people. 3 people.
Hopefully, there's one more that's I really like the direction that they're going in.
If that is the case, then welcome. Sorry to disappoint you, but just stick around and maybe there'll be one joke you like.
No. This is the person that will basically like everything we do.
Oh, so the So like this devoted like worshiper that just like
until we say the one thing they don't like, and then they'll start bitching at our Tumblr or Twitter. I don't know if we have any of this.
No, it's I really don't. Well, I guess Twitter. It's not a Twitter, but
you're saying we're not popular enough to even have a Twitter.
No, we have a Twitter account, but it's like I haven't used it in a while. Like it's we haven't done anything. I mean, we haven't released anything.
Yeah, like nothing since last week.
But I mean, we're not going to go into that. It's just things can happen. Not gonna get into any specifics. It might involve a hamster.
We did get some death threats from the clown union.
Those bastards can get scary, and not just because they're clowns, but they pull up in the car. You never know how many are there, and it's. But one thing is, all their weapons don't hurt. They're just really fucking funny.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think it'd be a dying profession, but apparently there's a lot of them out there, and they can afford really good lawyers.
Yeah.
So, I'll take this time to announce that we are donating $1,000 to the clown union. Do
not take his word for it, because that is still in the process of legality, and I'd have to talk to my talk to my bank about it. It might bump me into a new tax, but
So Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Let's just get into it.
All right. So
let's party.
At this point, we're pretty much going to be wrapping up, but we will be getting into a potentially spoiler-saturated talk on Game of Thrones. So at this point, if you don't want to listen to it, then fuck off. If you do want to listen to it,
this is your cue. Yeah, if you want to listen to it, this is your cue to pause it, watch all 3 seasons plus 1 episode.
Yes.
And then when you're done with that, which I don't know how long it'll take, but it shouldn't take that long.
Like 3 days.
Just keep this tab open, pause it.
Pause it, yes.
Watch all of that.
Yeah.
PrimeWire's good.
Definitely.
Then go back.
Definitely.
Play it.
Yeah.
So, there you go. A very small investment to, listen to the next 12 minutes of us talking.
Exactly. It's like we're doing you a favor. I mean, we're presenting you with, one of the best shows on TV. Period.
But the important thing is that they just do the legwork so they can listen to the rest of this
Obviously,
podcast.
yes. I mean, there's always going to be some stuff for us. I mean, we can't just give. We have to.
Yeah, it's interactive.
Yes, exactly.
That's what makes a good podcast, is that it's interactive.
Yeah, none of this one-sided, fucking deal. It's you got to give it to us too. Sponsors, if you want to do that. I mean, I'm personally having a monster right now.
Yeah, and we are currently in need of $1,000. So the PayPal button.
Yeah. Cashier's checks would be preferred too. Let's see.
We kind of need it soon.
Yeah. No more Bitcoins. That's not in anymore.
You're talking to libertarians.
Well,
and they're totally in.
No, man. That went down like a few months ago. Yeah. It's not cool anymore. But who knows? Maybe I'll have a second come around. But all right, at this point, it's going to be Spoilercast. Okay. All right. So, Game of Thrones premiered 2 days ago.
3 days ago.
3 days ago.
God, it's felt longer.
Earlier this week, because by the time this is released, I don't know how lazy I'll be in getting all this shit done. But yeah, that was I personally fucking loved that episode, but I know that you kind of were just...
Well, it was alright. I don't know. I probably had unrealistic expectations, but it was just because of how excited I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, no, I was surprised how much they covered, how many people they jumped around to, because especially with last season especially, with how many different storylines they have to cover, that they had episodes where they left out 3 storylines, and then they did the next episode with those storylines, and then cut out other ones. But this one, the only storyline that they didn't really address is Theon, and Theon is just the Greyjoys. Yeah.
Basically, a lot of the North situation they haven't done with Bolton and Greyjoys, and I'm looking forward to that. But obviously that took a backseat last season too. So but I would think
not as much Theon. That was pretty fucked up parts of that.
Yeah, but he seemed to have lower priority, his storyline. But it seemed at the end of last season that they were setting up that storyline for a big one, because it is a civil war essentially. It's the last civil war left in Westeros.
One of the reasons I think that it was kind of the back seat is that in the books they didn't talk about they didn't speak about anything that happened to Theon until after it happened. They didn't address anything during the whole occurrence of him being captive and all the torturing and all stuff like that. They just pretty much described what happened to him after the fact. That. Yeah, he's fucking eunuch now, and that he's just fucking skin and bones, or pretty much that he's just a fucking wreck. But yeah, so I mean, I think they probably just didn't. They weren't going to be doing too much into that because they didn't have much to go on.
I mean, it's understandable. Theon's not really, a prominent character, that significant character. I mean, he's an interesting character, I think.
He's still.
It'll be interesting. He's a prick, but I think that's why it's interesting to see how he'll react to this. And I hope that the Greyjoys get a more significant role in the overall story. But I liked it a lot. I thought the scenes with both Ygritte and the Wildlings and with Jon at the wall, I thought they were very efficient. That they covered a lot. But it's really the stuff in King's Landing that kind of dominated most of the screen time, it seemed. I don't know. It was. I would assume very well edited, just because it didn't seem like a lot of the storylines were shortchanged in any way.
Yeah.
But it seemed like the King's Landing stuff, those scenes, got a lot of screen time, and so did Arya and the Hound at the end, which I liked that they left that pretty much. If I recall correctly, that kind of uninterrupted at the end.
Oh no, that was like the. I don't know, the last 7 minutes of the episode was all Arya and the Hound. So
that was really exciting. I'm very excited about Arya's character.
Oh yeah.
She feels like, to me, she's the only one carrying on the legacy of the Starks, and I think that's important.
Well, yeah, because she's the only one really doing anything.
Yeah.
Until Brandon Rickon, that's another storyline that they didn't cover, is Brandon Rickon.
Yeah. Well, Rickon, they kind of set it up where they're probably just gonna leave him out of the picture because he doesn't really have a role. He's too young. Bran. Yeah, they can leave until they start dealing with the whole White Walker issue. They can leave that until later. That's not something that seems like that needs to be an every episode thing. But things like Daenerys, the politics in King's Landing, Arya and the Hound, that's something I think they need a lot of ground to cover. There's a lot of things they're gonna have to, I imagine, would have to span over the course of the season.
Yeah. but my guess is that they're going to start off next episode with Bran. That's going to be the starting.
Probably.
Yeah, because especially because they didn't even like reference it at all, or they didn't show anything on it. So they're probably gonna. I mean that seems to be like Game of Thrones pattern, like with handling all the storylines, that like most of the time when they like leave something out of like an episode, that they start off the next episode right off with that, and that's like the most that of the ones that they left out. I think that's the more prominent one, that whole thing with Bran, because I think that's more prominent than Theon for now.
Yeah, sure, but I doubt they'll leave the whole Yara and Theon thing for like 3 episodes in the season. I don't think they're going to do that. They'll cover it next episode.
And they still need to do Stannis.
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in the Wall and the White Walkers, in that whole business a lot, when I didn't used to be. I mean, it's kind of their fault, since they started the show with the White Walkers and then waited very long to bring them back. That is one of the legitimate criticisms you can make of the show.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's a hook. That's
a long period to leave people on.
Yeah, but one thing is that it doesn't. It starts off with like letting people know that it's not just like a more of a realistic kind of show, that there's some like mysticism, that there's some degree of like,
but then they dropped it, then they dropped it for like almost a season. So there may have been some supernatural stuff here and there, but I don't know. It's like you make kind of a statement in the beginning what your show is going to be about, and they just kind of left it. I mean, I was still glad with the content after that, so I don't really care. But I can understand other people judging it.
To be honest, like that's been kind of like the motif of like the series so far, is that like
it drags its feet.
No. I'm saying that like just like in general that they forget about the White Walkers until like it's kind of like too late, or like that where like they realize like, oh shit, we have to really like think about this. We have to like pay attention to this now, because it used to be like one of those things where like, oh, it's just like a wise tale. It's just like a myth and all stuff like that. And so like they. Do
you think the White Walkers are a metaphor for global warming?
Shut up. Shut up.
We didn't listen!
Like the opposite, isn't it? Global freezing. Yeah.
But two things I really like. I'm patient with most of the storylines, except when it comes to Daenerys and when it comes to Arya. I want to see Arya become a badass, like, what was it, Bravosi? I've forgotten all where the assassin comes from. I forget his name.
Bravos.
Bravos? Yeah, so I want her to see her become a Bravosi assassin and grow up, and then, like, I want to fast forward through that track.
Well, I mean, she still has to go to Lysa. That was like the whole thing.
Yeah, he's taking her there. Yeah, who knows if we'll even get there. Yeah. I doubt Lysa would even want to see her.
God, she's such a fucking freak. God, the whole scene with that whole thing with like, that was like the middle of season 1, right? Where with Tyrion.
Yes.
Yeah, that. God, but yeah, they probably won't get there, or like something will happen where she just breaks off with and like leaves the Hound or something like that.
Yeah.
Or fuck, jeez. I was thinking like, oh, they might kill off the Hound.
Yeah, they better not. Yeah. He's one of the best characters on the show, the psychopathic, murdering, kind of wise man.
Yeah, who has like, who's like, you know, has like this weird balance of moral and immoral. But I don't know, when you kind of like look at the pattern and kind of look at some like subtle cues of like how people have been killed off so far, it's like it's kind of thinking like he's making it, he's being too likable, but he's not exactly a main character there. He's one of these fringe characters that is getting really likable, so he's kind of getting into gonna get killed off territory.
Well, no, but they gotta follow the books though, especially with a character like that.
Well, I don't know much of the books, and
well, that's what I'm saying. It's not gonna be based. What happens in the stories, at least the major things, are not gonna be based on fan reaction of the TV show.
Yeah, but I'm saying that like, well, obviously they're gonna be, you know, like a lot of the things that they get you attached. Like they show things and they don't show some things. They make it in a way so you have the reaction. You have the reaction when things get killed off or people get killed off or whatever. So it's not as predictable, or it could be predictable by looking at things that you know that most people wouldn't. That like it's unpredictable to a point, but like you still get like shocked. Like anyone who didn't read the book and watched The Red Wedding, every single fucking person was shocked. I was
shocked, and I knew they were gonna die. I already been spoiled with them; they were gonna die.
Oh, I didn't know about that,
but it wasn't specific enough for it to ruin the moment for me. Essentially, my reaction was probably still the same as everyone else's.
Yeah, but like that whole thing is like, you if you look back, you can get the cues and like you can understand and all stuff. But like because of that, like I've been kind of like, you know, going through with the fine-tooth comb and like, you know, kind of just like thinking like, all right, like what because there for most part there has to be some cues, there has to be like some subtleties that can give hints to it. Obviously there's still going to be shit that's like has no reference or like nothing that you would ever think of, and it just like pops up and you're just like, well, shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I'm fine with The Red Wedding. I just didn't care for George Martin's explanation of it, of him just deciding to do the thing that's unexpected rather than the thing that makes sense based on the story. Like, I'm not into this whole, I want to be so nonconformist, so unconventional, that I'll make decisions on my story, not based on the characters and the world and what's plausible, things that I've set up, but just like, I want to twist the audience. I want to give them something that they wouldn't expect so I can get, like, points for being different. Like, that's what, like, as long as he doesn't make a habit out of that, then, yeah, I'm okay with it. Just, like, making decisions on that story, it just seems kind of stupid.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it takes the show and like the series in general, like, to the point where it's never gonna get dull, because it's ever changing and it's ever evolving. So like with killing off characters, stuff like that, like it kind of just, you know, sweeps the rug out from underneath.
Yeah, but even that can get predictable if you do it too much. Just the very sense of trying to be unpredictable, consistently trying to be unpredictable, makes you predictable.
But the thing is, they take enough time to get us immersed into it. So like, so like it's just like you feel safe, and then it just like.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Game of Thrones is not supposed to be a happy story with clear good guys and clear bad guys, and that's going to necessarily give you someone to root for, and that's going to have a conventional ending, and it's give you as much hints as that, you know. And I like the little hints that they give you in the show, like, this is not going to end well, you know, like when Theon's torturer said to him, if you think this has a happy ending, you know, you haven't been paying attention. And that was kind of a wink to the audience. That was kind of a message to the audience as well that that this is not going to have some happy ending. The story isn't, which is fine with me. But don't kill off all the likable characters, you know.
Yeah.
Don't kill off until basically there's no stakes in the world that we care about. There's no characters that we care about, because then it's just people being dicks, you know.
Yeah.
That's not that interesting. But to get back to the stories I'm really interested in is Arya. Obviously, I want to see her become the assassin. That's her destiny now, obviously.
Yeah.
And Daenerys. The shot when they showed her army lined up like that, what she's collected, the power she's gotten, that got me primed so much for her eventual sailing to Westeros.
Yeah, I mean that's the last thing that she needs. It's just a fleet of ships.
Yeah,
that's and like, you know, that's. I mean, that's pretty much her only weakness. I mean, also maybe like somewhat of inexperience, but like she's winging it like a champ, kind of like she
still pisses me off though, like her kind of high and mighty moral mission that she sort of hides behind, which is like fine. Like I think it's great that she's freeing slaves and overall she's doing good things, but that she pretends she's not also doing it for her own benefit as well. Kind of annoys me.
Yeah, but I mean, like, well, that's like to the point where like everyone has their flaws.
Obviously, relatively speaking, she's an extremely moral character in that world, and she gives decisions more moral consideration than most of the other characters do. But ultimately, she wants to. She's going to kill people. She's going to kill people. I mean, dragons are essentially like the nukes of their world, and she's going to take over a whole continent with that threat, with the threat of dragons. She's going to kill people, you know, and she wants, because a selfish feeling, I mean, it's just a selfish desire to get what she thinks is hers, is the throne. You know, I mean, I'm sure she believes, and everyone around her believes, that she'll be better for the people than anyone else would, and they might be right, but she wants it because she thinks it's hers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she has more claim to it than, like, you know, its current resident.
Yeah. Who's just I don't see how you can have. I don't see how we can really have any claim to the throne, knowing what we know.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, but I mean, he's a Lannister, so you know, in many ways than he would like to be, but
I think at this point, like, it should be obvious. Like, some rumors, you think that sounds really not true, and the other things like, wait, now that I think about it, that sounds really plausible.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a very ignorant character.
Yeah, sure. But I loved. I think it was the ending of last season, season 3, where he talked to Tywin, when he talked back to him and gave him shit for basically being a coward during the uprising or not doing anything, and him kind of taking more of his father's side, him kind of putting more of his identity into his father. And it's interesting because everyone basically sees him as a Lannister. Everyone does. The audience does. All the characters do. Sees him as a Lannister. But he sees himself as a Baratheon.
Yeah.
And I think that's interesting. Because they see him being on the throne as like the key to the power of the Lannisters, basically having the power behind the throne, that they can control him, but they really can't control him. And it'll be very interesting to see when it comes to a head. Yeah,
well, I mean that's where, like, you know, what's her name is gonna come in, the
queen.
Yeah.
Or the queen to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's cool. I really like her.
Yeah.
She played, I think I told you, she played Anne Boleyn in the Tudors.
You mentioned. Like,
yeah, and she was great in that too.
Yeah.
Basically the same character she's playing.
Yeah. But no, like that. That's always going to be interesting, especially with also like her grandmother too. Like that she's all like
cool.
I loved like how like she just like fucking says whatever she wants, and like I mean, like the only time that she like was at a disadvantage was against Tywin.
Yeah.
That was the only time.
Both the scenes with Tywin and with Tyrion were awesome.
Oh,
you know, they're great characters, but I have to think that she's the common denominator there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No, it's like I love that. This. I mean, it can get confusing with all these characters, but it's so awesome. Like how much like just kind of like the diversity of awesomeness in this series.
And I'm liking the Dornish prince.
Oh, that was yeah.
At first, I'm thinking like another storyline, another angle, and then I'm just like, that guy actually seems really cool. Like at first, I was skeptical, and then when he talked with Tyrion, I'm like, okay, this can be interesting. Yeah. It's also putting Tyrion in a weird position where he is not like the rest of his family.
Yeah.
But he inevitably is stuck with their consequences.
Yeah.
The consequences of his whole family, the history of his family.
Yeah, it's his reward and his consequence.
Yeah, and after Tywin, he's the one who kind of has to handle everything. He's sort of responsible for everything.
Well, yeah, because fucking Cersei's like she's doing whatever the hell she wants, but like she's pretty much like just I don't know. She doesn't have as many restrictions. She's kind of just like, you know, does what she wants. She'll every now and then be like have told like, you know, she has to marry
she's looking out for her own interests at this point.
Yeah.
Her son and herself. And Jaime's obviously just wants a life of like honor, something that gives him fulfillment.
Yeah.
But Tyrion is inevitably going to follow in Tywin's footsteps. But he's clearly a better person than him.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that. I was convinced that it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, it's definitely amped for a great season. But
yeah, I think so. But the disappointing thing is that it's actually, even though it's a full season, it's really kind of half of a story.
Oh yeah.
Because it's still on the book that season 3 was. So that's disappointing to think it's not going to span as much story. Like who knows whether Daenerys is actually going to get out of I don't even know what the name of the continent is that they're on, but basically set sail and basically get into Westeros by the end of the season, which I don't think probably won't happen. I just hope she's not freeing slaves the rest of the season.
No, well, I mean, it'll probably just get to the point where it'll probably end on her getting the fleet of ships and her.
Yeah. Like, well, the funny thing is the season probably will end on that scene.
No, I guarantee.
End where they can do a dragon scream. It seems like so many times I'm just like I totally predicted last season was going to end with a dragon scream because they always do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's cool, but it's getting kind of lame.
Yeah. No. Yeah,
but if we had that audio clip, I would end this podcast with a dragon scream. So I'm not above it.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
But we could claim we did it ironically, or we were aware of it. You know?
Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll have the technology to, or the the desire, or the maybe I won't be lazy enough that I'll actually put like a picture in, something like that, you know. But I don't know about an audio clip because I mean that's just that's getting a little too crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, so I think we covered like most of the stuff.
I think we probably even gone way longer than we should have.
Yeah, I mean we've gone about 15 minutes longer than anticipated, or your little previous plan, but
yeah. So I say we should just cut it off.
All right. Thanks for thank you to the 2 watchers and 2 listeners that are still here. Maybe 3. I don't want to, get my hopes up too much. But, yeah. Come back. I don't know, just... You'll see it. You'll see it. Just I guess subscribe. I'm not going to be doing anything where it's going to be annoying in your feed, but you might just sometime actually see something pop up. But anyway, thanks for joining us.